Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Victoria Memorial Hall, to the new library building and this conference hall for this very special back-to-back talks on a brief historical review of the Howrah Bridge, the awe-inspiring icon of the city, by Professor Amitabha Ghoshal, Chief Advisor to the Board of Directors, STUP Consultants Private Limited, followed by another talk on Howrah Bridge, Rabindra Setu, the physical structure, by Professor Amitabha Ghosh, Technical Advisor International, Mageba Bridge Products, Bula, Switzerland. Now, these talks have been organized in the context of a recent exhibition to commemorate 75 years of the Howrah Bridge, which was held in collaboration with the Tata Steel and Kolkata Port Trust. Before we get underway with the actual talks, I would like to request the Secretary and Curator of Victoria Memorial Hall, Dr. Jayanto Sengupta, to kindly welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome. I think it's now warmer than what it was a few minutes ago to this back-to-back talks on the Howrah Bridge by two very, very eminent engineers who are both experts on the Howrah Bridge. As was just told, as all of you know, we did an exhibition in collaboration with the Kolkata Port Trust, the custodian of the Howrah Bridge, and Tata Steel, which supplied the steel, 26,000 tons of it, in building the new bridge in 1943. We did an exhibition which has just been dismantled. We have been trying to do this series of talks for some time, but for various reasons, it is happening only today, but better late than never. We thought that as one of the icons of this city, we should do this exhibition on the other icon. And the jury is still out on which is the greater of those two icons. But we are trying out for the second time, in fact, a new venue for our talks, which is this just newly opened library cum conference hall, which will have some offices. So this is a venue where we will do, hopefully we will be able to do talks during museum hours, because we don't have an auditorium. Therefore, in order to do a talk, we have to either do it in the evenings or do it in the open air during the not so warm season, or close down one of our exhibition galleries early and set it up for talks like this. So with this venue, that problem is going to be sorted out, hopefully. So this is one of the pioneering events that we are doing for this, and it's a full house. That's a lesson for us. We will have more chairs, we will have more space for very popular talks like this. As I spoke with the two speakers, Professor Amitabha Ghoshal and Professor Amitabha Ghosh, we are very, very thankful to them that they have readily agreed to do this talk for us. They said that they would like to do a kind of TED Talk style presentation, very short presentation, maybe 20, 22 minutes. That's very flexible. And then we will have questions and answers. We are also very grateful to have the former Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology in Jadavpur University, Professor Manoj Mitra, with whom this conversation about having these talks originally began. And so he also readily agreed to chair and moderate the session today. So we are also very thankful to him. Thank you so much for coming in such large numbers to listen to two very eminent speakers on one icon of the city, which we take for granted, which we don't really analyze and examine. And that's what's going to happen today, and we are very thankful for that. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much, the speakers. Thank you, Manoj for coming here. So we look forward to a great couple of talks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joyinto. But may I request Joyinto also to do another pleasant talk before the talks begin? May I request you to kindly felicitate the two speakers for this afternoon, Professor Amitabha Ghoshal and Professor Achyut Ghosh, with a token from the Victoria Memorial Hall. Because we are sure you won't run away after this. In modern times, this is known as an investment. Joyinto was also talking about which icon is bigger, the Howrah Bridge or the Victoria Memorial. We are living in an age where the media systematically promotes icons instead of ideas. So probably we shouldn't go into this competition of which icon is greater. I think all icons are there to stay, and we should learn to respect these icons the way they are. I would like to now request Professor Manoj Mitra, the chairperson for this afternoon, to kindly take over proceedings. And while he's coming up, Joyinto, if you could kindly do the honors by also felicitating him with a token from the Victoria Memorial Hall. So with that, I hand over the microphone to you.
Thank you, Mr. Raman. Good afternoon. As Joyinto has already said, this is warmer today, but I find here one thing, that is, I don't say ladies and gentlemen, because everyone is a dignitary here, as I see. So I would only say good afternoon, dignitaries. Joyinto and others have already pointed out this concept of icon. But to us, I'm 67 today, not much younger, only 8 years younger to the Howrah Bridge. So to us, people like us, and many of them are here, Howrah Bridge was not just an icon. It was much more than that. It was a wonder. It was even, we can say that this was something that gave us an inflated ego. It was our pride. And we grew with this Howrah Bridge, and the situation was such at that point of time. Every single film you see, there would be one reference or the other, one shot of the other of the Howrah Bridge from some angle. And it was not only Bengali movies. When I shifted to Kharagpur, I found that even Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Hindi movies will have something to do with the Howrah Bridge. So it was to us, people from Calcutta, who thought or took pride in being an Calcuttan, this actually was an event which made us our ego much more inflated. And with that kind of an understanding, that kind of a pride for Howrah Bridge, I went to Kharagpur to learn engineering. Fine. Nowadays we talk about anti-ragging, but at that point of time this term was not there. It was only ragging. And if someone says that he was not ragged, I think he is, I don't say lies, but right. So, and one of the major part of this ragging was, you'll be bombarded with a barrage of questions, and you will answer only to be ridiculed, nothing else. And it was such at that point of time that in Kharagpur it was 15-20% Bengalis from Bengal, and others from the other states. And so anyone coming from Bengal and the other seniors from the other state obviously would ask you or tease you with your egos or your prides, and Howrah Bridge was always there. And I had the misfortune of getting certain questions on Howrah Bridge as well, and these were not like at that point of time, most of the quizzes were not as abundant as now, but there were quizzes even in school, and in every school quiz, there will be some questions on Howrah Bridge. How many nuts and bolts? What kind of welding was there? Okay, and who made the steel, and all that kind of thing. And obviously, such silly questions are not asked in ragging period. So I was given to answer certain questions. Out of that, uh, one thing was, uh, as has been already pointed out, 26,000 of steel tons of steel was made by Tata Steel, but it was not total. This was about 95% of the total steel. Who made the rest 5% of the steel? And being a metallurgy student, I was obviously supposed to answer that. And obviously, you can't answer all these. And ultimately, the question that came, why do you talk about Howrah Bridge at all from people coming from Bengal? Because then I started defending that this is one of the cantilever bridges which is not there in this world or this part of the world. This is the span is so big, and this that no rivets or no nuts and bolts. This is a riveted bridge, and so many things we knew about Howrah Bridge as our pride. I tried to explain everything. Then the sermon came. You say this is a wonder? This is just a colossal wastage. I said, what? What is this? He said, 26,000 plus tons of steel to make such a small bridge? Do you think this is a national, don't you think that this is a pure national wastage? The Germans are talking about this now. And you believe me, this actually deflated me to be almost a flat tire. And I unfortunately could not defend my own Howrah Bridge. And this is the situation that I fail. And no one will believes or tries to find out the veracity of the statements made in ragging period. So I also didn't do anything about it. But I passed out from Kharagpur with the basic dejectedness that I could not defend my Howrah Bridge. That was the thing. But I understood from that question at a later stage that as engineer, whatever you build today, whatever is the status, whatever state of the art you make, tomorrow or day after, something bigger is going to come, and that is natural. But the worst part was that the most or the biggest culprit to all these are people like me, the material engineers. They come out with new materials, new processing of material technologies, and the old things get or lose their sheen, and the new things come up. And so this feeling that I could not defend my Howrah Bridge even haunts me today. And so when Joyanto rang me up, I was in the hospital at that point of time. He told me that 75 years of Howrah Bridge, and we are going to celebrate and going to have some talks on this. I thought this may be one region where if I come and listen to the experts, maybe even at this stage, at this age, I'll be able to get something to defend my Howrah Bridge once again, because the fellow who asked me those questions still living and is in Kerala. So I can have a fight with him. So that is the basic reason why I am here, and I'll be, as all you are, very eager to listen to the two eminent speakers, beginning with Professor Amitabha Ghoshal. He has been involved in the activities of Institution of Engineers. We all know about it. He is an executive council member of CEAI, that is Consulting Engineering Association of India, especially the eastern and northeastern sector. After 21 years with internationally reputed construction firm BBJ, he took over the charge of the Eastern Zonal Office of STUP Consultants, and this is one name, STUP Consultants, for the people in the construction. This is one name which comes repeating year after year, because anything new that comes up, STUP has something to do there. Professor Ghoshal is a civil engineer by profession, graduating from Bengal Engineering College. erstwhile Bengal Engineering College as that, and he is a fellow of a large number of professional institutions like Institution of Civil Engineers UK, Institution of Engineers India, and he also contributes extensively to the professional publications. With this, I would request Professor Ghoshal to enlighten us. Please.
Thank you, friends. And thank you, Chairman, for the introduction. But I think I owe to a lot of my friends over here that this title professor is a misnomer. I have acquired this being associated with Professor Achyut Ghosh, who uses professor regularly. I happen to be a ordinary engineer, and I like to be called Engineer Ghoshal because I am proud of my profession. You see, I have been given 22 minutes to present on the history of such a large structure. But even then, I cannot resist the temptation of wasting 2 minutes. I would not say wasting, using 2 minutes for acknowledging the initiative taken by Victoria Memorial along with Kolkata Port Trust, who were the real custodian for this bridge, and of course the Tata Steel, who had contributed largely to this project. You know, in our country, we don't have this system of celebrating a structure. I am very happy about this because only 2 years back, I was invited in Bangladesh for the centenary celebration of a bridge which is known as Howrah Bridge popularly, or Hardinge Bridge, which is across Lower Ganges, but people call it across Padma in Bangladesh. And that was a bridge which was damaged in 1971 war, and I had some part to play in repairing those bridges for 3-4 years. And Bangladesh remembered that and called me for the centenary celebration, which they celebrated with a international conference, and I was given the privilege of presenting a history of the Hardinge Bridge. And they also organized a trip to the bridge, which is quite away from Dhaka. They made a special train. They took us, the invited delegates, to the bridge, and I had the pleasure of getting on the bridge, where I have spent, you know, days and nights while the repair work was going on, because it was one of the major concerns for Bangladesh. So, giving this 2 minutes, I appreciate Victoria Memorial for initiating this, and I am sure we'll have a much better celebration when Victoria Memorial becomes 100 years in a few years' time. And even before that, I hope the Institution of Engineers India, the only large body which is headquartered in Calcutta, will be celebrating its 100 years in 1920. And that's an institution which has been involved with Howrah Bridge in a way which I will present. Well, Howrah Bridge as an icon or not, as Mr. Sengupta has rightly questioned. Okay, whether icon or not, Howrah Bridge has been part of Calcutta. Calcutta wakes up with the bridge. Calcutta goes to work day long with the bridge and goes to sleep with the bridge. This is an illumination which Kolkata Port Trust had done to give the bridge a better view during the nights. And you know, it is something which Calcutta is connected with. You know, it's a part of Kolkata, and as Chairman pointed out, that every Kolkatan feels this to be part of his existence, and any criticism is stoutly rebutted. This is another view of the bridge. You know, it shows the bridge across the river. Now, bridges, to my mind, and I think to most of the engineers, are just not an infrastructure. just not a structure. It is more than that. A bridge is a link between human beings. A bridge is linked between two parts of population or two parts of habitat. And it's a bridge which connects people, which connects regions. And that's why a bridge is slightly more than just a piece of hardware. You know, bridge is always synonymous with a place. You know, Golden Gate always reminds San Francisco. And Tower of London Bridge immediately gives you the feeling of London. Similarly, a profile of Howrah Bridge makes all of us proud as a Calcutta. So therefore, it's a bridge which really requires to be celebrated, and I hope